behalf of Navkiran. I hope that today's session will be fun, interactive, and there'll be a lot of learnings for all you guys out there. And actually, that's more like a promise I can make to you, because we have one of our really exceptional mentor who's taking this session today, who will be able to help you with all your CV queries and how to put your best foot forward to the recruiter in terms of your CV. So guys, before we begin, I'd just like to tell you a little bit about the platform of Navkiran and who we are. So Navkiran is an initiative by Top B School alums, wherein we provide hand-holding to students who are currently pursuing their MBA, so that you all, people like you, can make the most of their MBA journeys, can ace their MBAs, can actually achieve all your desires and fulfill all your whichever company you want to get into, whichever field you want to get into. So fulfill all your desires like that, whatever you want from your MBAs. So we help you with personal mentorship, wherein you have a guru who will be able to guide you through your CV buildings, through your placements, through your talents, and to help you understand what you want to do and how to get into the company of your dreams, etc. Also, today's session will be a lot about how to use a CV, which is like your first introduction to a recruiter, how to use that and how to get shortlisted, because it's all a fight of getting shortlisted. So it is all going to be about that. And you guys can, of course, ask all your doubts and questions from the panelists who's going to be here with us. I guess Priyank has already joined. Priyank, are you there?
Yeah, I am here. Can you share me the host site so that I can share the screen?
I have given you access to share the screen, Priyank. It's really good to have you. Can I also have you on video?
Just a second.
Sure. So guys, let me quickly introduce Priyank to you all. Just give me a moment. Yeah. So guys, Priyank is associated with Accenture as a product manager and management consultant since the last 2.5 years. He has done his BTech from JIIT Noida and his MBA from SIB Hyderabad, wherein he majored in strategy and leadership and specialized in marketing and finance. He has successfully executed 35 diverse projects as a management consultant, program manager, product manager, pre-sales and marketing operations manager. Overall, he has 13 years of work experience, especially in the field of IT, telecom, real estate, and education. Other than this, in his leisure time, he uses it to engage in consulting, conduct webinars and mentorship sessions for undergraduate and B-school students in the fields of consulting, marketing, and finance. He is also an official mentor with Navkiran, as I mentioned, but also with 180 Degrees Consulting and DTU Assets and Roundtable Societies. So very warm welcome to you too, Priyank. Thank you for taking this session. I'm sure the audience members will have a lot to learn from you, and I'm sure they have a lot of questions to ask you, and they should make the maximum of this session with you. So that's a great smile. It's a very promising smile for a very promising session. I hope our audience members also have the same smile on their faces, and I hope they retain the smile through the entire process, entire session. So guys, just before we begin, just one last thing that I want to tell you for the benefit of you all who are attending this seminar, this session. So guys, we at Navkiran have a lot of insightful mentors who conduct such sessions which are available on our platform. So do go and check out our page on LinkedIn. It goes by the name of Navkiran itself. Do go check out that page, subscribe that page for any further updates for the workshops that we are conducting, in which you guys can enroll. For the sessions that we are conducting, we conduct sessions on cracking your GDs, cracking your interviews. See, this is the time when all of these have become even more important. It is even more important to put your best foot forward. It has become even more important to represent yourself to the recruiters in the right manner. So for that, a little bit of refinement, a little bit of polishing is the need of the hour. So we have all these seminars put out there with industry specialist mentors who have been experts in their fields, and trust me, you'll find all the mentors from all different fields. So you guys should really go and check out our page, check out our previous workshops and sessions. They will really help you, not through just your placements, but through case study competitions, but through surviving MBA and to making the most of your MBA. So do go check out our page, do subscribe it for any further updates, and definitely we will keep coming back to Irma for more such sessions which are both insightful, fun, and interactive, and for the benefit of you all out there. Because at the end of the day, we are only doing this for the students pursuing their MBAs and to help them be guided in the right direction. Because being away from campuses, being away from seniors, not having that touch and feel factor with your campus, understand the kind of disconnect that can come into picture with students who are currently sitting at home. And that is what the gap is. This is the gap that we are here to fill. So guys, now over to Priyank. I hope this session is really, really interesting, really insightful. I've had multiple sessions we've done with Priyank and we've got amazing feedback. So over to you, Priyank, now. And all the audience members, all the best. Please feel free to post your questions on the chat, to ask your questions. Priyank always takes all the questions. He's very, very interactive and proactive like that. So over to you, Priyank.
Thank you so much, Unnati, for sharing my introduction. And I guys hope you are able to see my screen as well as my video.
We can.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So good evening, everyone. All the students of IRMA Institute who are currently live as well as on the streaming side and attending this session, especially on the Sunday evening. I know most of you have the plan for coming out outside and have a outing with your friends and family members, but still you are attending this session on how to make your amazing professional's resume, because it is the most important part as well. So I hope you will be having a productive session tonight and you will be able to get the most of it. Let me quickly introduce myself. So my name is Priyanka Ahuja. I have around 13 years of work experience. I started my career journey from 2003 when I started my BTech from JP Institute of Information Technology in Noida. I was also handling the role of a JYC president, conducting the events for large scale and around the cohort size of around 540 students. And then I passed out on 2007 with 3 campus offers in my hand, but I joined product-based organization that is Nokia. And I worked there for around 2 years as a performance specialist. Then I joined ZTE as a project leader and taking care of the newly GSM service provider launch like Tata Docomo and Estel GSM in the northeastern countries, northeastern states. Then I joined Vodafone, but I take a transition into the marketing strategy and transformation projects. Worked there around 6.5 years and also taking care of the strategizing roadmap and launching of the prepaid, postpaid and MNP products of the Vodafone. Then I joined ZTE in 2016 and I worked there for around close to 2 years and taking care of the account management for the global telecom operators like Optus Australia, Sprint PCS and AT&T US. And then I joined Accenture as a full-time corporate trainer. But in the middle, I take a break for the 1 year and did my MBA from ISB Hyderabad. And my international exchange semester was with NUS Business School, Singapore. And later on, I again joined back as a management consultant or product manager role. And right now I'm associated with Accenture and taking care of devising the product strategy and product roadmap for multiple products on the BFSI and e-learning products. So that was my short round of introduction. So let's share I will share you the session agenda, what we are going to cover today. Guys, this is basically a resume session and we will discuss each and everything related to the resume, especially how your resume is important, why it is standing out as an individual, what you do with the help of this resume, and how it will provide you benefit in terms of the screening process, in terms of shortlisting, and how you get chances of your interview, both this resume. Then we'll discuss about what are the various varieties of resume available in the market, which one you need to select. Then the structure of your resume. This has been customized based upon your requirement. So all the components related to your CV will be discussed here. Then we'll discuss about the practical tips, how you can make it more effective, which the recruiters want. And then the touch points I will share you from the recruiter's eye, what recruiters want to see. And accordingly, you have to include those touch points in your profile. Then we'll discuss about what is STAR approach, because very, very important, because each and every bullet point you need to write in the form of a STAR approach. And then we'll discuss about the tips, how you can make it improve, and followed by the Q&A, along with the 2 CV review profiles, which I have received through the Navkiran team. Okay. So that is the agenda which we are going to cover in this next 1 hour session. So how does a resume stand out as an individual? Hope most of you are aware, but still I would like to clarify it. First of all, what is a resume? A resume is a 1-page profile which could quickly share about your achievements, your education, your activities, and your overall 360-degree assessment. Just like suppose if your age is around 24 years, then in dot 24 years, what you did so far, what you have accomplished till date, each and every point will be captured in just one page CV. As per industry standard, it should be one page only if you have less than 10 years of work experience. But for a campus hires, definitely it should be the one page only. But if you make a resume, what will happen? What benefit you will achieve? It will create your own personal brand. Brand means why a person or why someone else will remember you. What is so unique trait about you, and why someone will going to hire you. What value you are going to bring on the table. That will be achieved with the help of your personal brand. Second is it is an important tool which is used for your job search. It is a first round of your selection process. But I would not say that it is a selection process, it is a rejection process, because 97% rejection is happening with respect to the screening of the resume. So I always say this is a rejection round, not a selection round, because vast range of rejection is going on this profile. And if it is not built up in the right manner, then definitely you will not grab opportunity to land up into the interview process. It will always create a first impression in front of the recruiter, but it depends upon the time which recruiters use to spend upon the CV. So whatever the time the recruiter is going to spend on your CV, it makes sure it should create a first impression. And first impression is always the last impression. If you fail to create first impression in just few seconds or few minutes, then the game will be over and you never get the opportunity. It will open the door of the opportunity, means proceed towards the next level of your selection process. That is your PI, or it can be GD, or it can be your other rounds also. It always stand out from the competition. If you have did a marvelous achievements or extraordinary achievements, definitely it will bring a lot of success in your life. So these are the benefits for a good resume stand out you as an individual. Guys, whatever the doubts you have, I request you please put in the chat window so that I can take care one by one in the Q&A round. Okay. Now, what are the various types of resume? There are two types of resume applicable in the market, and most of the students or working professionals are making only two types of resume on the broader categories. Whether you are a fresher, whether you are an experienced person, or whether you were a professional and then doing MBA and then you again started working, all the resumes are basically two types: textual resume as well as visual resume. So, what is textual resume? Textual resume is basically written in the plain text English format only. Plain text English format, which is basically not having any logos, colors, picture, visual, and all. Plain text format only. And it is a ATS compliant. All the HR professionals are using application tracking system, which used to generate the keywords through your profile. And if it is get filtered out, then you will get shortlisted. So this textual resume is completely ATS compliant. And it should be concise, easy to read, and forwarded in an email. And the size of this file should be less than 5 MB only. In any case, the size should not exceed beyond 5 MB. And it should be easy to add, modify, delete entries in future. Suppose if you have prepared resume today, if you want to make addition or modification, you can do that. There is no problem in that. There is no restriction allowed with respect to your, you can say, formatting part. And it will make online job applications friendly, because the moment you apply the textual resume in the online job portals, it will automatically filter out the relevant details in the columns. Hope most of you have also have tried applying on the online portal. When it is asking to apply for the give the source of your resume, it will automatically be filtered out all the keywords, but it will be filtered out only if it is a textual resume. And even your format is also a textual resume. Most of the organizations, especially B school, they are also adopting only the textual resume. Let us have a discussion on the visual resume. What is visual resume? Visual resume contains your photographs, your visuals, your logos, your diagrams, or you can say some tables also. This is a part of your visual, which is basically used only in the face-to-face scanning. Means the person physically scan the resume, then only this visual resume will help. But it is not a ATS compliant resume. If you try to, you can say, upload into the online portal, it will not extract any of the detail. It is completely non-ATS compliant resume. But why visual resume is being used? to show the creativity out of the box, what you did so far. And it's easy to read. It is eye-catching, and you can filter out the necessary detail. But if someone is going to read your resume in front of you, then visual resume will help. Otherwise, ATS compliant resume will always help. But once you make the visual resume, in future, if you want to make any kind of additions, it is not possible. It creates so much time wastage, and sometimes you are not able to edit it future, and you have to pick up the different format. That's why it is creating problem. And online job portals never recommend to add visual resume. And the size is, most of the time, it is more than 5 MB because of the pictures and visuals and logos. But for the campus placement, textual resume is highly advisable. Now, what is the structure of the resume? This is basically based upon your format, which your institute has been provided to us. Okay, so what are the components here? You have the academic qualifications. Okay, you have the elective subject areas of interest. And there are two components which is applicable, I think, for the second year: summer internship segment and the village fieldwork segment. These are your specialized component. Then you have academic projects, professional experience, position of responsibilities, achievement and activities, key skills, and personal information. So these are the few components which form the structure of your resume. Okay, hope you are familiar with these components because these are your components of your resume. Okay. Now, what are the practical tips? How to form your CV? These are the few practical tips which every job seeker has to follow. First of all, your resume should be having STAR approach. What is STAR approach? Situation, task, action, and result. This I will discuss in the next few slides in detail how you can use this approach. So please park for this approach for another 5 minutes. Whatever the points you are mentioning under the STAR approach, it should be in the bulleted format only. It should be in the bulleted format only, and each bullet should not be beyond 2 sentences. I repeat, each bullet should not be beyond 2 sentences. Why? There is a reason behind this. If a recruiter is going to read your profile, they have to understand what they are reading. If they are not able to retain the information, then what's the point of reading the profile? Don't write paragraph, don't write essays, always go for the bullet points, and each bullet point should not be having beyond 2 statements. And whatever you want to write, it should be in that bulleted format only, but maximum 2 sentences per bulleted point. And make sure under each work experience or internship organization, you should not use more than 5 bullet points. I repeat, for each internship organization or any prior work experience, you should not use more than 5 bullet points because nobody is going to read it. Nobody has time to read it. But how you can mention the points? The most important achievement, the very big achievement should be always come in the first bullet point. You have to proceed towards the reverse chronological order. So make sure the biggest achievement should be come first, then second highest, then third highest, and the least highest should be come in that. If suppose you make 7 achievement, but make sure you should quantify maximum 5 big achievements on your profile. Otherwise, nobody is going to read it. And each bullet point should not have more than 2 sentences. So you can say maximum 10 sentences or 10 lines can be allowed for one organization or under internship, or it can be your, you can say, professional prior work experience. Whatever the bullet points you are using, you have to use action or power verbs. Now, what is this action or power verbs? Just like designed, implemented, coordinated, or gestured, drove, led. These are the power verbs which create impressive lines on your resume. Don't mention just like someone is reading your job responsibilities. You have to mention your accomplishment. Resume does never talk about your job responsibilities. It should talk about your accomplishment. And accomplishment will be having higher weightage if you are using action or power verbs only. And whatever the role you are applying, you have to use relevant keyword. Just like as I am working in handling the marketing part of the product. So I mentioned the keyword like marketing strategy, marketing roadmap, or you can say go-to-market strategy. So these keywords should be there. The relevant keyword should be there in the CV so that someone going to read, they should be able to select your profile. If suppose you are working on a consulting, then consulting, problem solving, a structured approach, or client recommendation or team collaboration, these keywords should be there. So relevant keyword should be there in your profile. It's up to you where you are going to highlight, but these keywords should be there. Otherwise, your resume will never be get shortlisted. And don't use filler words, just like you are a member of NGO, or TNP cell, or you can say club committee member, until and unless you quantify the impact. Means as a president of the marketing club or consulting club or corporate relations club, what you are doing, what you achieved so far, and what was the value you have bring out on the table, what was the outreach, how many events you have arranged, how many type of the speakers you bring up, and what was the value they have bring up, and what was the engagement level in terms of the students and the participants. Each and every information should be provided, then only this statement will have value. If you use just these words as a jargon, it will not create any credibility on your profile. And try to get it reviewed as much as you can. But there is a limit. I repeat, there is a limit. Don't get reviewed by more than 5 people. Don't get reviewed more than 5 people, but these 5 people should be different. One can be your family member. Second will be your close friend and your as a student in your institute. Third can be your, you can say, alum. Fourth can be minimum 1 industry experience in which you are going to apply. And fifth can be one of your mentor. Not beyond 5 people you should not get reviewed, because every person will give different perspective, and you end of the day you become confused. So maximum 5 edits should be required, not beyond that. Okay, and it should be 1 page, and it should summarize all the skills and competencies. So these are the practical steps you need to include before building your CV. Okay. Now, what are the touch points from the recruiter's perspective? So these points which I told you from your perspective. Now, what recruiters want? What recruiters will consider? First of all, resume read time. How much time the resume will require to be read by the jobs recruiter? Minimum 30 seconds, maximum 45 seconds. This is the ideal time which recruiter is going to spend on your profile. Minimum 30 seconds, maximum 45 seconds. Now what they do in this, they will scan spike in your profile, whether you have higher academic score, or you are a leadership potential person carrying the leadership potential, or you did a good, you can say good internship, or best academic projects, or you work with the brand companies, or you can say exceptionally well in your extracurricular activities. These are the few pointers the recruiter going to catch on. Once they scan these important points, then they will go through in detail about CV. They will spend another 30 to 40 seconds on your profile to read the details in depth. So you can say minimum time is 30 seconds. If they, in that 30 seconds, if they scan minimum keywords, then they put on another 45 seconds to go in detail. So maximum, they are not going to spend more than 90 seconds on your profile. Maximum limit is 90 seconds. Provided if they capture important ingredient in first 30 seconds, then only they will invest another 1 minute. Otherwise, they will not going to send it. So make sure maximum information should be provided in that read habit. Customization, it should be as per the JD. So whenever you are going to apply for any role, make sure you should have the JD in your hand and customize and add those filter keywords in your profile. No technical jargon should be there. Suppose if you have your prior work experience in IT industry and you are applying for marketing role, and if you are mentioning the, you can say jargons like C, C++, Java, or SQL or database, which marketeer can never understand. So don't mention any these words which other person cannot understand. You have to write those words which the other person understand it and it comes in their vocabulary. Otherwise, they will treat it as technical jargon and they will discard those points. It should be clean and easy to read. Do not make so much overcrowded. Try to give the space on the left and on the right so that proper margin should be there and the other person should be able to read it. Just like, I will give very simple example on this. Every day you are getting so many messages on your WhatsApp or Telegram group. Definitely you must be getting that. But if your message is suppose more than 10 lines more long, whether you are able to read it? No. You will read it only if there is a proper gap or within the sentences, then only you are going to read it. Similarly, is applicable for recruiter also. If you are not able to read any lengthy messages in the paragraph which is coming in your social media profiles or WhatsApp, if you are not reading, then why recruiter will read it? They will not read it. So make sure there should be proper space. And please highlight your leadership potential also, which is very, very important. Leadership potential, just like I mentioned in the previous page, like suppose if you are a consulting club president or marketing club president, or suppose you are handling finance club, what you did as a leader, what value you bring on the table, that you need to quantify in terms of the numbers or in terms of the percentage. And career progression also. Suppose you worked previously as an analyst and then you promoted as a senior analyst, then you need to mention that. It shows that you are growing in your career. Or if you are moving from one domain to another domain, like suppose you started in finance and you move to suppose consulting, or suppose you move to the marketing, it also shows your horizontal career progression. It displays your diversity. That's you need to highlight. Then is your USP. That is the most important ingredient. That is called as USP, unique selling proposition. Means what characteristics you hold which differentiates you from rest of the candidate. I repeat, what characteristics you hold which differentiate from rest of the students, from rest of the candidates. What is the specialty you hold? Why someone will hire you? What is the best value you are bringing to on my table if I'm going to recruit you? It should be your specific achievements, which doesn't comes, you can say, especially as per the JD, but it can be your lifelong achievements, which you did something exceptionally well and which you want to showcase to the recruiter so that they will add value in your profile. Suppose you are 100 percentiler in your CAT exam, or suppose you did suppose 760 marks in your GMAT score, or suppose it can be your work with the NGO and you created a good project, or you startup, or you made a startup and it is doing exceptionally well. That can become under your USP, which is not possible everyone for every student. And if you have international exposure or international projects you have carried out, that will create 5 to 6% additional advantage. If it is there, then you can mention it. So these are the touch points which the recruiter want to understand. Okay. Now what is STAR approach? Now I'm going to discuss in detail. STAR approach is basically having 4 words: situation, task, action, and result. Situation means why you did, what was the scenario for which you have carried out this particular task? What was the scenario, or what was the detail of the organization for which you were accountable to start this particular activity? Task means what are the activities you have actually carried out as per your assigned roles and responsibilities. And action means what are the sequence of steps you have carried out based upon the roles and responsibilities mentioned in task, what you actually did, what was your sequence of steps, and after your execution of the steps, what was the outcome. The outcome should be either in number. If number is not there, then you can mention in percentage, but percentage should be realistic and reasonable so that someone can quantify your impact. Let me show you with the help of basic example. See this. This is suppose one of the responsibility you carried out and you have been assigned for the task and you did some task and you make some achievement. How you can present better in the form of a STAR approach. You can see this if you spend some time here, then you can easily filter out what are the situation, what are the tasks, what are the action, what are the result. Like this was the profile of the company. This was the task you were hired, and what you did, you have deep dive and find out the RCA and involve the stakeholders. And what was the result? In less than 6 months, you have achieved 20 to 25% of the goal. So these are the actionable items you have achieved while working on this project. So this is how you need to, guys, I request you please mute yourself. Thank you. So these are the steps which you need to convert your conversation in the form of a STAR approach. But this STAR approach you need to apply in either 1 sentence or 2 sentences per bullet point. I repeat, this you need to condense either in 1 sentence or maximum 2 sentences per bulleted point. This is the way you have to write in your CV. Now let me share you few basic steps how you can improve your profile. Okay, so first of all, there should be spike in your CV. Spike means your USP. How someone can differentiate from the top 5% of the people. How someone can differentiate from top 5% of the people. Okay, it can be the eye-catching keywords which you want to highlight it. Just like suppose if you get a PPO holder or in one of the organization when you are doing the internship, or you did a different projects which is not belonging to your team, or suppose you are a gold medalist in your Olympiad, or you have you can say topper in your BTech, or you can say other graduation team. Something which demonstrate your personality when you are doing exceptionally well, will differentiate among top 5% of the candidates. Then you can highlight in the form of a Skype, and you have to highlight at the top of the resume so that it will become an eye-catching point for your recruiter. If you don't want to get it highlighted in the form of a recruiter, then your resume will be treated as ordinary resume, just like the other student resume. So spike should be always come at the top. It can be anything. Suppose if you have 12 components in your CV, it can be anything. But you need to highlight this if it is something extraordinary which you want to highlight in the eyes of the recruiter. It should always come at the top. Don't highlight this CV spike at the last of the resume, at the bottom of the resume. It will not work. Should be top. Then coming to the academic, just like your academic qualifications, make sure your specialization as well as the year of graduation should be properly mentioned in your profile. And if suppose you are the topper or you have achieved, you can say good percentile, make sure you should highlight in the bracket so that it will give impact in the eyes of the recruiter. This is how you need to highlight in your academic. Similarly for other components also, like work experience. If you go through this particular profile, it is very generic statement if you can read it. Like see this, studied the relevance of drilling pressure and its data management in the oil and industry. But what value it is bringing, what the person wants to say. There is no impact in terms of the number. Now see this, what was the objective of carrying out this data set? The person has analyzed the data set from key testing schools along with the end-to-end flow of the daily pressure data. But what was the value addition? Why you did that? What was the importance? And if you see this, compare this second point and the fourth point, these are approximately same, but written in different language. So this will be treated as a redundant. There is no need. You can eliminate that. And the person also mentioned that I have received a pre-placement offer for technical resourcing team from SSO Chennai. Okay, good. There is no doubt you have received the PPO. You have mentioned definitely you have received it, but why you have received it? What you did? What you exceptionally did well, and what was you can say a USP, that you also need to highlight it. Otherwise, it will be treated as an ordinary point in your profile. Now you can improve it in the better way. Like you can see benchmark you are mentioning in terms of the sequence, in terms of the steps you are making it. So if you don't mention in a particular format, then it will not create any value. Earlier, you are consuming how many points? Approximately 10 points. But right now, you are condensing in just 5 points. And now every point is having certain data, like numbers or percentages. Same thing, you can clarify in half of the lines, but will more impact. Just like see this. Now this person mentioned, I have received a PPO for streamlining data ingestion by developing a QC tool. And what the outcome? Increase the process efficiency for 8% plus. Means more than 8% process efficiency that person has achieved. Now you are quantifying your detail and it is creating more value on the table. This is how you need to create impact on your profile. Okay. Now coming to the position of responsibility, see this. If you are mentioning that you have worked in a, you can say literary competition with 35% event, then make sure you have to mention what will be the total participation. If suppose you mentioning the number of events you have arranged, you need to mention the total number of participants for whom you have arranged this event. Until and unless you don't mention the count, this point will not create any relevance. And if you are mentioning large crowd, suppose you are mentioning the large crowd, 1100 student plus is a very big crowd. Then you need to highlight your team management or people management skills so that it will demonstrate your leadership potential. And whenever you are being elected for a, you can say president or committee member, you need to mention how much is the batch size and what will be the batch number, so that the person will feel the importance that you deserve to become a president or a member from this particular pool of the student. The more number of students are, the better will be your leadership potential. And if suppose you are involved in the budget or funds, make sure you need to mention whether it is a sponsored or non-sponsored. Then it will create more credibility in your data. The basic understanding is the more data you throw on the CV, the more credible person you are. So make sure each and every point should be quantified as much as you possible. Okay. Coming to the same extracurricular activities also, like most of the students are used to mention it, don't repeat the same word again and again. If you have the certification, make sure what was your major learning. And if you are getting the scholarship, then mention the scholarship amount and what was the governing body for providing the scholarship. And whatever the rank you have received, you need to mention with the number. The same process will be applied here in the co-curricular and extracurricular achievements also. Okay. And same is applicable for extracurricular as well. Like suppose if you are mentioning about you have worked for the NGO, what was your impact? Why you work with the NGO? What change you bring in the society or change in the NGO team? What was the impact? You need to mention clearly. So at the end, what will be the general pointers? The general pointer is diversity should be highlighted. If you have worked on multiple projects, you need to highlight that diversity. What type of projects you did, what are the functional areas, what are the skill set, you need to mention it. And if you highlight the more diversity in the initial area of career, the more credibility will be reflected on your profile and the better the chances of your shortlisting in your interview process. Second is, as I mentioned earlier, the point should be in the chronologically reverse order. The biggest achievement should come first and the second highest achievement should become later on. Because recruiter will always scan from the CV from top to bottom. Let me tell you the approach why CVs will be scanned from the top to bottom. Just like when you are traveling on a road or in a bus, okay, or whenever you are going to meet a stranger. Whenever you are meeting a stranger, first of all, your visibility will be put on which portion of the body. Definitely, your visibility will be spread on the face of the body, face of a person. You will always see the face of a person, especially the stranger for whom you are going to meet first time. Once you find the face appropriate, then only you will scan the body language of a person. Then you will scan the person from top to bottom. It is applicable for both male and female, both applicable. Similarly, when you are making a CV, the recruiter will scan from the top. If the desired pointers are not coming at the top, then they will not scan from the top to bottom. But if the desired filters will coming at the top, then they will spend another 30 seconds to go at the bottom. Same thing is applicable from the recruiter perspective. Psychology is same because earlier you are also human being, recruiter is also human being. So you have to think from their perspective. And if you have made the similar achievement, makes them in a group so that it will create more impact. I hope so far there is no doubt. So that was the presentation from my side. Now I am going to open up the CVs which I have to review in front of you. One for the first year and one for the second year. Shall we start now? Okay, great. Let me share the one first year person. Hope you are able to see the screen. Okay. Yes. Okay, great. So this is the CV I have received for the first year, Anusha. Okay. So let me share one by one. So this is your college logo. I know this is a college format. You mentioned the name, you have mentioned the gender, and you mentioned the academic qualifications. This is perfect. Okay. And the percentage in maximum 2 decimal place is okay, but 1 decimal place you have applied, that is perfectly okay. So academic qualifications are perfectly okay. Coming to the professional expertise. Now, Anusha has mentioned about the details in a paragraph. Now, if you are a recruiter, whether you are able to read it, no, you will not read it. You will not read it. You will get lost in these particular detail. So make sure you should write in a crisp format so that the recruiter will be able to understand what you have written. So you have to create 3 bullet points as a software engineer, what you did as a L&T Infotech. Don't write anything in the paragraph because bulleted point always increase the credibility. Now let's have a look on this position of responsibility. In the position of responsibility, now you have consumed 3 lines on that. There is no need. You have to shorten up this statement in the 2 lines. Because if you mention the 3 lines in and another bullet point having 4 lines, nobody will going to use that. And make sure one sentence should be there. If you see this, you have a 2 sentences. There is a full stop is coming here. This is a second statement. So you can ideally use the second bullet point also. But here, 2 sentences has been merged in the same bullet point and the total volume is now 4 lines. Are you guys able to understand? Okay. Now this line is perfect. If I am going to read this line is perfect. Now you mentioned which event you organized, in which year you organized, what was the organization partner, and what is the outreach number or impact. That is 150 plus team participation. This is the most important point I would like to say, that impactful line which I would like to say, because it is completely written in the form of a star format. Because it gives me complete inputs. Why you did, for whom you did, and what was the impact. Now let's go to the achievements and actives. Again, this is a 3 line. You can shorten up to the 2 lines. No need to mention so much information, especially the abbreviation, or you can use short keywords, or you can use the lengthy keywords. It's up to you, but try to shorten up to the 2 lines. Now she has used power verb here, awarded. But in this, the power verbs are not used, or action verbs are not used. Awarded, led, drove, or chested, so many power verbs are there that you have to use it. Okay. In coming to this professional, you should never use I, me, myself. These keywords will not be utilized, especially I word you don't have to use. Don't use I word, don't use me, myself, you, your. You have to mention the CV in the form of a third person. So don't mention any such detail in your profile. Okay, just like you mentioned as I took. Now, if you read this, if the recruiter is going to read this particular statement, recruiter analyze that you are just mentioning the job responsibility here, but you are not highlighting your accomplishment. Resume talk about your accomplishment rather than job responsibilities. Please understand, guys, there is a difference between resume and job description. In job description, you have been asked to work as per the assigned role responsibility. But resume talk about your past. It is not talking about your present. What you accomplished, that you need to mention. Similarly, star format is not used here. Okay. And impact is mentioned here. That is the best part. But it can be improved if you can condense in the 2 lines, as well as you have to use the power verbs, and you can use short form here, internship project in this metal theaters private limited, that automatically you can scale up in the second keyword. Clear? Same is applicable for here. So silver medal, don't write mention silver medal here. You can mention awarded silver medal. Now see this. This has been repeated. Here it is also written and here it is also written. There is a redundancy. So directly start from here. Awarded silver medal for securing second place in badminton tournament at university level. That's it. Now if you suppose remove this, you will come exactly in the 1 line. Each and every line is important for you. You have to save each and every corner in your CV so that you can add more relevant point in your profile. Clear, everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Same thing is applicable here. No need to mention so much detail, just like extraordinary detail has been provided to this. This is not relevant. This is not relevant. You can, this is not giving any value addition, so you can skip this line. But this is most important to bring awareness about education and hygiene. But this is coming at the last. Ideally, it should come in the first. So word reorganization or restructuring is required. Now here it is mentioned as served as a blood donor coordinator for 1 year. Okay. You have donated the blood, definitely that is a very good task, but what was the outcome? Why you did that? You need to mention for whom you given this blood. That will make this sentence complete. Poster painting and playing badminton, that is your extracurricular activity, that is perfectly okay. Coming to the key skills. Guys, I just want to know this key skills as per your format, it should come at the last or it can be come at the top also. Just want to ask about your opinion. What is your format here?
At the last, sir, as per the format.
At the last.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. So usually for other institute, actually it is coming at the top, but it is coming at the last. But in case you have a extraordinary skill, which is important to highlight in the recruiter, you can highlight as your USP at the top. Otherwise, there is no need to highlight that. If it is a college format, that okay, there is no problem to change it. But if it is exceptionally skill, which is needs to want to you, which you need to wants to put into the attention of a recruiter, at least highlight that particular skill at the top of the resume during your career objective. This is okay. Personal detail. That is perfectly okay. And one thing I would like to suggest, this is your personal detail also, perfectly okay. Okay. Now, one thing I would like to highlight here is, this is your college format. Suppose after graduating from the institute, definitely you have to use standard format. Okay. The institute format you may be used, you might not be used. But whenever you are going to use alternate format, don't include your personal details in your profile. In your personal details should be 3 things are there: name, email ID, and contact number. That's it. No need to mention your gender, no need to mention your date of birth, father's name, mother's name, or you can say spouse name, or also your photograph. It is not required. Try to highlight as much minimum detail as possible. If you are going to use in future about the standard format. But in college format, you are bound to use it. There is no option because it is uniform. And only you can say placement agencies are going to use it. This CV is never going to go outside your market. Okay. So this was the first one. Now I am going to share the, for you can say, feedback for the next CV. So this was the second year CV which I have received for the candidate Prakash. Hope you are able to see the screen.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, great. Okay. So now let's have a look on that. So this is perfectly okay, academic qualification. But one thing I would like to suggest here is no need to go through the 3rd decimal place. Always go through up to the 2 decimal place, because it is not giving any validation if you are going to mention in the 3 decimal place. So always stick to the 2 decimal place only maximum. Then coming to the subject and electives, that is perfectly okay as per the format. It is easy to read and it's very simple to understand. Simple language is there. Coming to the industry segment. Now, this candidate has perfectly written the bulleted points, means maximum 2 statement per line. But one thing is missing here. You can highlight in the form of a star approach. There is no impact mentioned in terms of the number. Just like you mentioned at comprehensive study of loan behavior of 5500 MFI members in North India. But what was your analysis? What was the outcome? Means what was the reason for this study? It is not mentioned here. Similarly, you mention analysis here, but for whom you did the analysis and what was the outcome? That can create more credibility in this CV. And suppose if you are identified the key processes, then why you did that? Or holistically, I would like to rather say that these 5 lines basically talking about one action item. Or you can rearrange the words like this, that these 5 words can be merged to a single bulleted point of maximum 2 sentences. And you can cover the number, your impact, your outcome. Hope this is clear to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next is your, this is your.
Sir, you are on mute.
Yeah, thank you. So this is a specific component about your summer internship segment as well as VFS. In the same thing, you need to mention about in the star format also. If you have the data, then you can mention the data in your star format, or especially the percentage or the number. If it is not, then you can mention the situation, task, and action. That will be okay. That will be okay. This will be considered as an exception. For special ingredients in your profile, which is specific to your academic projects, then outcome is not necessary. If you have, then well and good. If you don't have, then don't worry. It will be considered as an exception for all the academic projects, for all the academic driven summer internships. For that, there is an exception. But for the other internships, as well as for the other professional expertise, your outcome will be required. Please keep in mind, if you don't have the number, then perfectly okay. Just like you have mentioned about visited 8 schools and 2 Anganwadi center, analyze the scope of the NGO's intervention. You mentioned both situation, task, as well as the action. But result is not there, that's okay. There is no problem at all. That is perfectly fine. Coming to the academic projects, now this unnecessary space has been given here. So you can either create a bulleted point like this. If you make the format here, then it will create synchronization as well as it will give you the more visibility in your profile. Okay. Now here, outcome is missing. Comparative financial analysis of Kane Agro over the past 10 years. The outcome is not there mentioned. If you did the financial analysis of last 10 years, definitely there must be some findings, which will be more productivity, which will be more productive for your research. But you need to highlight with that point. That can be added here. Coming to the professional experience, you have unnecessarily used one line stakeholders. Due to this single word, you have consumed one additional line. It can be rearranged in the previous statement also. And second, don't use 2 action verbs in the same line. Don't use 2 action verbs at the same time. Use only one. Directly mention, either use led client operations or directly use manage client operations. Now see this, there is a redundancy here. You have used operations here also and operations here also. Don't use redundant word. Due to this redundancy, now you have consumed one line. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Great. Now this is action verb, facilitated, initiated. This is perfectly okay. And you have used complete line. Say this. If you read this line carefully, you have the impact also in the number 92%. This is the impact also 170 center. But here the impact is also mentioned in the terms of student outreach and promotion. But the percentage is not there, but you mention the final outcome here. So I can say this portion is 100% correct. No need to change anything. It is perfectly written. Coming to the position responsibility, again, I can see this is consuming one more line. And second thing is, don't ever use this such kind of word successfully organized. Always directly mention organized group discussions. Don't use successfully, because it's something given suspicious nature to the recruiter that other activities will be definitely not highly successful. So if you mention successfully here means what about others? So don't give any kind of suspicious nature to the recruiter to consider that. So if you remove this, you will consume, you will save one line, just like this. So don't use such words which is, you can say, creating unnecessary wastage of the other line. Okay.
Yes, sir.
This is graduation, served as a college head. No, don't mention served. You mention as appointed as a college head. Then mention from which, what is the pool of the candidate. Means suppose 500 student, 1000 student, or suppose 200 student, you need to mention that. Served as is not a good word. Similarly, you don't have to use served as. Or here, if you are using elected as, and then you can use appointed as. Don't use same action verbs in next immediate line. Make sure you should use two different action verbs so that recruiter will understand you don't have the same words in your vocabulary. The recruiter always focus on what are the words available in your vocabulary. Always use different action verb in the next immediate sentence. Led a group, this is perfectly okay. But not use lead, you have to use led. This is the right word. Because this is a part of the past. Because you did this activity in the past, not in the present. Now you have mentioned in received company's second leading award. Now this word can be modified in a different manner. What word you want to use? Tell me. Any opinion from your side? Which word can be better used here?
Awarded.
Awarded.
Awarded. Absolutely.
Awarded.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Participated in Republic Day, present. Yeah. Now here you cannot mention outcome. Why? Because you have mentioned the right keyword, President of India. If you are giving this credibility in your profile, then there is no need to mention any outcome because it is understood in the Republic Day parade, there are thousands of people are there in the Rajpath. It is understood. If it is a generic statement, no need to mention any outcome. So this line is perfectly written, I can say. And this is also NCC certificate holder. These two lines are perfectly written. Coming to the technical skills, this is also okay and personal details are also okay. So that was about the CV review profile. If you have any specific questions related to the CV profile, do let me know.
Sir, we have received few questions in the chat box. So
Yeah. Now it's you can say question and answer sessions now. Let me see what are the questions you have received here. So that's all from my side. Now the stage is all yours for your question and answer. Just give me 1 second. I'm changing the screen to the question and answer mode. Just give me 1 minute. I'm toggling to the screen. Yeah. So first question is your, sir, if a person wants opportunities related to different field, for example, if I'm interested in both marketing and development sector, to writing both of them as my interest would confuse the recruiter about my focus on what I really want to get into. Okay. Yeah, it will definitely confuse it. So you need to tailor your profile as per the one skill set only. Don't mention both the things together. Until and unless if there is a correlation between both the things, just like product marketing, or you can say marketing strategy, these can be clubbed together. But marketing and development, product development cannot be worked together. So make sure you should choose either one, either marketing or either development, then it will work. Otherwise, it will create confusion. They don't understand for which role you are going to work on that.
Hello, sir. Sir, a follow-up question on this. So then, how will we be telling them how we'll show our diversification to the recruiters?
You can diversify your profile by mentioning that you did one project under this particular, you can say, segment, and you did another project for different segments. Suppose you did marketing for one internship project, and you did suppose academic project in finance. This can you show as a diversity. Or suppose if you did two internship with two different organizations, then you can highlight both the skill set. That's how you can showcase the diversity. That is allowed. But you have to tailor your profile for one specific requirement only. Don't have highlight the two things. Suppose marketing and consulting both are different things. You cannot highlight it both things in the one CV. It is not possible.
Okay,
Or
thank you,
if you
sir.
want to apply, then you need to use separate CV, which is customized for that consulting only, not for the marketing.
Okay, sure, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
And second is M. Gori has mentioned how good it is to use abbreviations. Abbreviations you have to use only for those words which is having a standard meaning to all the recruiter. So don't you have to use those common abbreviations only. Otherwise, if you are using different word which is having meaning to you, then you have to abbreviate in a full form. Can I use my graduation certification projects in internship or CV for marketing or financial development firm? Yeah, definitely you can use that, but mention the complete details. Now, like who is the certification issuing authority and all. Okay. Then there is a question. So what point should be added if we have to done internship in the research field? You need to mention, if suppose if it is a brand organization, then you need to mention just their name. If there is a startup, then what the startup is doing, in which field they are operating, you need to mention the complete details in the internship. And what was your role and what you accomplished, that only these 2 lines per bullet point you need to enter it. You mentioned to enlist our achievement in ranking of importance and weight of the achievement. However, it has been said a lot of times that year-wise mentioning should be there. Latest first in that is which approach should I have to firm stick to? See, I think year-wise is not allowed in your year-wise is not applicable in your format on the CV, which I have seen that. If you mention in your, you can say bulleted point, don't mention the year. If suppose you have accomplished 5 years back, but that was the major one or the bigger one, or in terms of the weightage, it is the highest one, then you need to mention at the reverse chronological order only. So highest should be always come at the top and lowest should come at the top bottom, but don't mention the year. You can mention the year in the discussion with the recruiter only, but don't highlight in your profile, especially the year. Talking that we are providing free plates available. Irma student, okay. That is.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Welcome. US Pay, for example, awarded silver. So, but I told silver medal in the CV. So you need to mention for which particular purpose the silver medal was awarded to you, and from how much pool of the candidate the silver medal was awarded. Then it will create a USP for your medal. How much importance is given to the extracurricular activities? See, Anushka, this extracurricular activities is having weightage only if it is unique, or you use these extracurricular activities in your workplace and it is creating a big achievement in your workplace, or you have utilized these extracurricular activities in your internship, or as well as it is creating a positive point in your academic projects. Or if it is exceptional, well, suppose you won some award, suppose you are playing a piano, but you also won the piano competition also, that will also give a lot of value in your profile. I have a YouTube channel on my own past 2 years. How and where to mention? You need to mention in extracurricular activities only. And as a founder, you need to also mention in extracurricular only, because there is no separate column in your format. So you need to mention in a extracurricular portion only. If a candidate has some certificate or degree, yeah, extracurricular you need to mention. Any framework or method to generate answer for USP? There is no framework as such as Shubham. The only thing is you need to identify that point which differentiate you from others. Like suppose if you did your major in strategy, leadership, finance, 3 subjects, then definitely it will add more credibility. It will automatically become a USP. Means something unique you did so far in your institute or in the BTech or suppose in other undergrad, definitely it becomes your USP. So there is no format as such. Mark result of industry is still work in progress. How can I result regarding it? So you need to mention, don't need to mention the closing year. You need to mention as, suppose you started in 2020, you need to mention as present, or ongoing you can mention in the bracket.
So like I have given my project is ended from my end, but
Yeah.
the company is trying to implement it on a larger scale. So they are happy with the project, but they haven't completely implemented it. So the
Hmm.
result it can generate, how can I present it?
No, you don't have the number or you don't have the complete the project. What is the scenario?
So I have completed my project. So
Hmm.
company is trying to implement it
Hmm.
to all of the branches.
Hmm.
So so currently the result it can generate at
Hmm.
that level is still not yet here. So
Hmm.
how can I write the result which it can possibly generate, or maybe it can be a successful project, or it can be a
Then you cannot
failure.
mention that. Then you cannot mention that. You can mention that this project is still ongoing post leaving in my, you can say, profile, or leaving my internship program that still is in progress. You need to highlight this. Then only the other person can understand it. So no, you cannot mention the result because it will be treated as a fake remark. Don't tell anything fake in your resume. Mention is clearly that this project is still online, live, but process is still is in the implementation phase. You can mention like this, but don't mention it is completed or it is their impact in the percentage because you don't have.
So like the trial phase where I have implemented it and shown the
Hmm.
results. So can I
Hmm.
present that?
You can mention that trial result. You can mention it, but you need to mention that still implementation is in work in progress. You have to mention this keyword.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, but don't mention as complete until unless if you have the data, you can mention as complete. But if you mention as complete, then the counter questions can be asked in the interview. So don't mention as complete. Is it a problematic if there is a space in our CV? You need to check your formatting, Neha. Then only you can analyze in detail. Okay, so you need to identify where you can minimize the space. That will be up to you. Any specific color or you to use, you can highlight. Ideally, only black color or gray color is allowed, but if you want to use, if your format allows you, then you can use dark blue color or navy blue color. That's only, but please check with your placecom team whatever they want to suggest. So please check with your placecom team what color you can use. I have no clue on that, but ideally it should be black or gray only. That's it. If there is any event in college, I should explain it, right? Yeah, you have to explain it. As a recruiter, don't know about it. Yeah, but don't mention so much detail about the event. Just mention event name and for which it is targeted. That's it. No need to mention the date, time, place, where it is conducted, how many people are there. No need to mention these kind of detail. Just event name and what was the theme for that event. That's just mentioned. Okay, so we should use only bold formatting for highlighting. Yeah, absolutely. Don't use underline. Don't use underline. Only italics you can use, but use bold and italic. Don't use underline. Significance of subject in interest in area. It is required with applying outside. No, it is not required outside. It is required in the inside only. It is serving as a part of your electives also. Okay, so I have covered all the questions. So Prakash, can you conclude
Sir,
now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, sir.
Someone was there having a question. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Prakash. Sir, I just have a one question, which is on the similar line, but there are two subparts. So let me discuss. So first is about the summer internship, which I had at an organization, which is finance related organization. So there I have mentioned that I have interviewed the dealers and retailers to study the supply
Hmm.
chain of consumer durable companies. So here
Hmm.
I had to study the supply chain of consumer durable company, but there is no impact because it is the part of study, and then I have recommended some business plan to solve some of the gaps. So here
Hmm.
I am not, having the impact from this statement. The second is
Hmm.
regarding my professional experience in Crompton Greaves. So there I have assisted learning and development team for client training. So there
Hmm.
also I'm not finding any impact related statement because I don't remember
Hmm.
how many clients and how many presentations I have given through learning and development team. And a third was about my technical paper presentations at one of the international conference at Delhi. So I have just published my technical paper there. So those international conferences have their book, and I have published the paper. So those things I have, but I don't have any impact related to these things, because I haven't awarded any prize or any certificates regarding that. So what about these things? Shall I remove it from my CV, or I construct the statements in different format? If you can suggest something on this line.
Whatever the data you have, you need to mention it. Only that relevant data you need to mention it. If you want to have a reality, if you want to, if you have sure that it will create an advantage in your profile, then you can enter it. Otherwise, you can edit that, remove that data, or either you can discuss in your interview. That would I can suggest. If you don't have the impact, then I think recruiter will not understand it in more detail. Or just mention the project name, or for which purpose you did the project. That's it. That will create more significance. But unless you don't have the data, there is no point to mention it in detail. And don't mention just like work in progress, or you client has not provided the data to you. That will not create more value on your profile. Just mention the internship project name and what is your role. That's it. Because this is an exceptional case. You can't do anything because you are helpless here. So don't mention anything lie. Whatever the data you have, just mention it. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, sir. I have one question that during my third term course is going on, I have done an internship that is outside the academic program. And during my course is going on, so there is a segment of SIS and VFS. So I cannot mention that part in those sections. So where can I mention that?
You have to mention in academic qualifications, or you can mention in extracurricular only. There are the two portions I can see in your format that you need to utilize it.
So in extracurricular, I can mention that I have interned in this organization.
Yeah, you can mention the organization name.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Or you can do one thing. You can mention in achievement and activities also. There is no portion in your extracurricular record. You mention it achievement and activities, and under that you highlight the portion of professional.
Okay, sir.
Don't mention. No.
Yeah.
There is as per your format, you have achievements and activities column. Under achievements and activities, you have two tabs. One is professional, second is extracurricular. You have to use professional tab.
Okay, sir. Sir, actually, my concern is that as the timing of the internship coincide with my third term. So
no worry. Just no worry. Just mention the year. Nobody is going into minute detail that whether it was overlapping or not overlapping. People are doing so many internships in parallel also these days.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
You should be ready to answer those questions. That is most important. Okay.
Yes, so looks like we are done with all the questions. Just one last one. If anyone is having any question, you can just unmute yourself and ask the question.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, this is this side. Sir, after my graduation, I founded my own company, and we got registered and was also incubated at IIT Patna. And during the startup phase, means we were 3 people. And we were the sole people who were working everything. We're doing, we're taking the responsibility of every single task that was there in the company. So means I was appointed as the director of the company, but we undertook all the tasks that was assigned to all the different domains. So in the working experience, what should I mention?
You need to mention as entrepreneurial experience only. You need to mention as entrepreneurship experience.
Okay,
clear?
Sir. Okay, sir.
Because
yes,
you
sir.
are doing because you are working as an entrepreneur, na? So you need to mention as entrepreneurship experience only.
Okay, sir.
You can't tell a lie na, on your profile. You need to be very transparent with the recruiter. If you tell anything lie, you can say disqualified, and you will be blacklisted from the organization, and you are not going to apply again forever in that industry. So don't tell anything lie. What was your role, you need to mention clearly. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So looks like we are almost done with all our questions.
Hmm.
So thank you, sir. It was really an insightful session, and also thank you for taking some time out from your schedule and attend and giving us this such an insightful session. So yeah, it was wonderful learning for us. And at the end, I'd like to present a vote of thanks to Navkiran team and Mr. Priyank Ahuja, sir. So, and thank you all for joining to the session. And just before we conclude, I request everyone to submit the Google form, which is available in the link. Please fill the form as it helps and the team in understanding the feedback. And also you must have received a link from in the chat from Navkiran team where you can have access to placement materials. So yeah, thank you everyone, and thank you, sir, for taking some time out and having this wonderful and insightful session with all of us. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, and have a great evening and all the best, very best, and keep learn, keep growing, and do well in your life. Stay safe and give your best in whatever the opportunities come at your doorstep. All the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, everyone. Bye bye. Have a good day, everyone.